Brittany Prischak. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for the County of Erie in Pennsylvania. Basically what I help with is I'm an environmental educator. I help on recycling projects, solid waste reduction, energy efficiency, watersheds, and litter cleanups, you name it, I'm there to help. There's a lot of different pieces to what I do, and it's the boots on the ground stuff. It gets the citizens involved. It's education so that people understand what we need to do and why we need to do it. It actually also helps folks feel like they have an impact locally, so that kind of sets the stage for building that resiliency. One of the most recent projects the County of Erie implemented is a energy efficiency upgrade to several of our facilities. We took 5 of our buildings and we actually were able to look at a 12% reduction in energy use, which actually builds resiliency because not only are we using less energy, but we're also now a model for other buildings, nonprofits, for-profits in the area. And as part of that, we've actually made a pledge as part of the 2030 district, which is a national program to reduce energy 50% by the year 2030. And so Erie County is part of that, implementing a regional piece to the county. So it's not just us doing it here, but we're actually spreading that results.
Brittany, can you tell me the challenges that you faced with your job?
Sure. So actually one of the challenges that sort of led to one of our recent projects is there was no local organization, single organization working towards climate action impacts, either education-wise or actually implementing climate action strategies. And so we actually formed an organization we call CRANE, which is the Community Resilience Action Network of Erie. And so it's a larger group of several different organizations, great experts in the area, so that we have a better effort to implement something. Stronger effort, a lot more experts at the table, a lot more people at the table. So it's not one organization that has to do anything. Sara Stahlman is with Pennsylvania Sea Grant, and she and Pennsylvania Sea Grant are members of CRANE, which is our Community Resilience Action Network of Erie. Members include Environment Erie, Green Building Alliance, Regional Science Consortium, the Northwest PA Green Economy Task Force, and Environment Erie. And then, of course, my position here at the county. And so we actually work with a number of additional partners outside the core member to look at climate change, how it impacts different sectors, including tourism, agriculture, stormwater, health and public safety. And so we've looked at a lot of different avenues.
One of the things that we do at CRANE is really focus on that community education and engagement piece. So back in 2015, one of the things that we did was hold a focus group, and we really wanted to find out from the community, what barriers do you face to moving forward with climate resilience and adaptation? So we brought various members of the community together in one room, and we talked about what's holding you back, or what are some things that you need and how can CRANE help? And so some of the information that we found from holding that focus groups is that people really wanted very specific Erie climate information. Even statewide information really wasn't enough for them. They really wanted to know what's happening here, what do we need to think about. They also weren't sure what kinds of tools and resources were available to them. There's so many, it's really overwhelming. So one of the things that we took on to respond to those barriers was to develop the CRANE website, which is like a one-stop shop where people can go get downscaled climate data for Erie County, have access to case studies and other regions that are doing climate projects, tools and resources, events that are happening, and kind of bringing together that community of people in Erie. So really trying to engage folks. And one of the things that we've been doing is holding yearly summits. So every year we focus on an aspect of the Erie community that people might be interested in. So really bringing people like local farmers to the table and hearing stories about how apple crops were destroyed and how the weather is holding their livelihoods in their hands, and how we really need to start thinking about ways that we can become more resilient. So CRANE long term really wants to sit down and identify Erie's top vulnerabilities. What are the key things in Erie that we need to target and focus limited time and money and resources on really honing in on and figuring out what are the action strategies that we want to develop to be able to tackle those issues.
Brittany, what do you think are some of the barriers that you guys have encountered?
Yeah, so actually one of the things that we've talked about through Crane is how do we actually work with the municipal officials that are making a lot of the decisions and implementing a lot of projects. And to us, one of the things that we've noticed is they don't know what to do. They don't have the data they're not the experts in the area or in that topic. And so we're trying to educate them, but we also need to actually provide them those strategies. What are the climate action strategies that they can then implement, and how does that connect with what they're already doing? So if they're looking at stormwater infrastructure, we know that they're trying to do maintenance on a lot of that, but they got to think long term. And I think what we provide through Crane is actually helping them connect long-term future strategies and how that connects with what they're doing already, so they're not replanning in a couple more years because of climate change and impacts that come down through that.
One of the things we don't want to do is reinvent the wheel. So kind of looking around to other communities and seeing what they're doing is always really helpful. And actually one of the tools that exists out there, it was developed by Gulf Coast states called a Coastal Resilience Index. It's actually being updated right now by New York, and Pennsylvania Sea Grants worked in partnership with New York to customize this tool to make it more of a Great Lakes focus. So one of the things that we would really like to do is to take this tool, which would actually provide a score for the city on various sectors. So looking at ERIE's transportation, looking at local businesses, looking at ecosystems, and providing an actual rating on how resilient ERIE is based on those various categories. So we would actually have a physical score that we could then bring people to the table, hold stakeholder meetings, and sit down and actually get some work done, where we can sit down and talk about what are the strategies that are going to work best for our community. We're unique and we're in a situation that's different than everybody else, so what's going to work best for us?
As far as Crane's concerned, if there's citizens, residents of Erie County that are out there that are looking for more information, we want to be a resource. And so if they've got a project in mind, or they'd want to find out more information about specific impacts that they're seeing in their local community, we want them to come to us. Bring that topic to us, and we'll do our best to give you either the data that's out there or point you to the right resource. Because even if we don't have the right information, there is a wealth of knowledge out there, and we would be able to help them track that.
Brittany, I know this is not a 9-to-5 job for you. Why is this work personal to you?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about the environment. I can see the impacts at home or on my drive to work every day, and so I want to have an impact. I want to be helpful. And so anytime I have an opportunity to educate folks, whether it's at home, people asking me questions, friends, family, it just means so much to me, because I can see the impact we as people have on this planet. And we have to do something. We can't continue the way we're going right now. And so whether it's through my position here at the county or just through my personal life, talking to people, making them recognize the impact that we have. I don't think folks even realize every consumer decision they make, everything they buy, it has an impact.